I have shipped commodities, raw materials, ingredients from and to all those countries. I have traveled across the world to close deals, so I'm probably more qualified to talk about international business than any of your university teachers. Alright, so in this video I'm going to give you 3 keys to solve international business. This video is going to be a higher IQ, so if you cannot plug your brains for a few minutes, go watch short videos. I'm sure it will improve your life. So, to deal with any culture, any country in the world, you first need to understand this cultural matrix. This matrix uses 2 concepts to analyze any society. And the idea is that by using it, you can better assess risk and, more importantly, opportunities in any foreign cultures. And I will show you how. But first, let's speak about this first key, because this is something that you need to drill in your head. People don't see the reality the same way. What do I mean by that? For instance, let's take this globe. Alright, if I put those glasses, I will see this globe like darkish. Okay? Now I'll put those magnificent glasses. Well, why do I have that in my home? Anyway, so now I see the globe like yellowish. Alright? So dealing with different cultures is the same as putting different glasses. You look at something the same way, but the cultures are like the glasses. Some culture will see this globe yellowish, other cultures will see this globe darkish. Even though everyone look at the same thing, they will still see it in a different way. Is it clear? No? Alright, so if you don't have the intellectual capacity to understand that people don't see the reality the same way, you will fail at international business. It's going to be very difficult for you. So let me give you another example. I have a friend who works at a Swiss office of a multinational company that deals with sugar and ethanol produced in Brazil. His job is to organize shipment of full vessels. And when you deal with vessels that size, every minute counts, as the cost of renting those giants are extremely expensive. And I remember my friend telling me that he was constantly extremely stressed because he needed information from the Brazilian office, and he was in the Swiss office. They were always extremely slow to give information. Sometimes he needs to call them again and again, and sometimes the people that needs to give information just left the office, and he was unable to reach out to them. And for him, it was like extremely stressful. Everyone was pissed at the Swiss office because they needed some information from some dude that just disappeared. And because of that, they are going to lose $10,000 because the vessel cannot leave on time or whatever. Here is a striking difference between the 2 cultures. In Switzerland, man, if you are not on time, if you don't give information on time, if we lose money because of that, especially in a commodity trading house, it's a very big deal. You are not doing your job well. In Brazil, all right, I don't know. Okay, let me give you another example. I remember this example quite well. I mean, I was in Cambodia and we had to go to meet someone like in a remote village, like a local Cambodian guy, because we were working on a cashew deal like long time ago. And I remember that we flew across the world to meet that guy. The day of the meeting, the guy said like, look guys, you can't come because we had like some issue with some ghosts, like some spirits or something like this, some magical stuff like at the village. And I was like with my friend, like, man, is he f***ing us or what is going on here? So, and my friend is half Swiss and half Cambodian, and he said, yeah, look, man, in Cambodia they see like magic everywhere. So no, we can't do anything. If the guy says we can't come, then we can't come. And I was like, all right. So we had to wait one day to meet the guy, and obviously when we went to the village, I didn't see any spirit, any magic, nothing. But for them, it was real. So nevertheless, we had to postpone the meeting. And by the way, when I met the guy was very nice, very smart. I mean, he understood everything that we wanted. We understood it quite well. But still, man, there was this ghost spirit thing that made us like postpone our meeting. So again, the first key, people don't see reality the same way. Drill that into your head. Alright, so now before going to the cultural matrix, let's speak about the second key. This key is a little bit dark, but so human. Don't believe what people say they are going to do. Never ever believe it. Seriously, let me give you 2 concrete examples. For instance, right now, at the time of recording this video, I'm waiting on a contract signed by a new counterparty. It's been like 3 days, and the guy is like, yeah, we are signing it, no problem. Just waiting, green light from legal, just waiting for this. Yes, we are signing it, don't worry, it's going to happen, blah, 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 blah. I'm like, okay, But anyhow, 2-3 times a day at least, I'm following up to see if he needs anything, when we can get the contract and so on, and I'm putting a lot of pressure on him to make sure that he's signing it, even though he reassured me like 2,000 times that it's happening. But I'm sorry, but I can't believe that, man. And this is a rule in international business. This is the second key. You can't believe what people said they are going to do. And the reason behind that is like you are not from the same culture as your counterparty. So that means that you can understand the words that he said, but it's very tough to understand the meaning behind those words. Maybe in that guy cultures, when he says, yeah, we are signing it, no problem, it's happening, and so on. Maybe it's mean I'm doing my best to make it happen. I don't know. So I cannot believe anything that he's saying. I need to see the action. I need to see the contract. All right? Let me give you another example from Romania. If you're new to this channel, I have a company in Romania. One of my business partners is a Romanian guy, and over the last couple of years, I really started to understand better Romania. And basically, when someone from Romania tells you, yeah, I'm going to pay you tomorrow, 90% of the time, it means he's not going to pay you tomorrow. All right? So it doesn't happen, man. But that's it, man. Now I knew it. I understand when someone is saying that what it means is like, yeah, I can't pay you now, so I will do my best to pay you. So he says, I will pay you tomorrow, but that probably means that maybe you are going to get paid 2 months. You don't know. All right? So again, the words are different of the meaning, and it's very difficult to understand it if you're not from this culture. So again, the second key, don't believe what people say they are going to do. Yapping, we don't care. Only actions count. All right, one last story about that, a funny one. So my wife had a friend, and her friends was saying like, oh, I'm really waiting for that guy to propose, I want to get married, blah, 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 you know, typical woman in her 30s. So my wife told me that, and I was like, yeah, you know what, he's never going to propose. It's not happening, man. You should tell her. And my wife was like, yeah, but how do you know that? I mean, you barely know the guy. And like, yeah, but you know what? He proposed to suck my no, he didn't. And I was like, yeah, you know what? I saw his Instagram, and the guy likes gay pictures. His comments looks like a gay guy. I'm sorry, that dude, even though he's dating your friend, he is 100% gay. And you know what happened? Few years down the line, turns out that guy was gay. I was right. Again, the point of the story is like, look at the action of someone, don't believe what they said they are going to do. All right? And this key is even more prevalent in a culture that you don't understand, because for you it's going to be very difficult to understand the meaning behind the word. All right, so now let's go back to the last key, this cultural matrix. On the left of the matrix, we have the trust. On the top, we have high trust. And at the bottom, we have low trust. So this concept of high trust societies versus low trust societies is quite easy to understand. So I will give you the textbook's explanation and then a couple of examples. In sociology and political science, high trust and low trust societies refer to the general level of social cooperation. These concepts influences how people interact with one another, how institutions function, and the overall stability and economic prosperity of a community. So this is a textbook's explanation, and now let me give you like 2 concrete examples to make this concept stick in your brain. So a high trust society would be Switzerland, so the country where I'm from. And I think this example that happened to my father is a good example. My father was in Valais, so this is like in the mountain in Switzerland, and basically my father drinks a lot of wine. Maybe too much, I don't know, but he loves wine. So he went to see directly a wine producer, you know, in the mountain, and basically they tasted the wine, whatever. And so my father was, okay, I love that wine, so let's buy boxes of wine. I remember that was maybe before a party or something like this, but he bought a lot for 500 euro, 500 US dollars, something like this. And the farmer had no like way to take credit card or something like this. So, and my father had no cash. So basically the farmers just said like, look, no problem, just take the wine, I'll give you an invoice, and yet you pay your invoice whenever you want. I mean, my father was like, okay, dude, no problem. And he paid. But you know what? The farmer didn't know my father. 500 euro or 500 US dollars is a lot of money for wine. I mean, this is something that you can only see in high trust society. Basically, the farmer knew that my father was going to pay, and my father actually was going to pay the invoice. But I can tell you, this story cannot really happen in a lot of countries or in a lot of cultures, because the other guys, first of all, the farmer would not let anyone live with that amount of goods without paying, and if he would have done that, in most of culture, I mean, I can tell you people wouldn't pay him. So that's a reality. So, but this is something that you can only see in high trust society. Now let me give you an example from like a low trust society, like Pakistan. So you can debate me however you want. I'm sorry if you are from Pakistan because you are from a low trust country and it's very difficult to live in a low trust country. This story happened to a kid that follows the Shipping Commodity Academy. So the kid is 17 years old and he's putting deal together, just for your information. So for the people that think that it's too difficult to make it happen, he's 17, he's doing it. But anyway, so, and he told me that he went to see like a plant that produced, I think, I don't remember what the plant is producing, but basically the plant needed manganese. Manganese is a type of mineral. So the kid went to see a lot of small mines in Pakistan and tried to get the right quality of manganese. And I think there were like a minimum level, otherwise the plant cannot use it. So the kids went to see 7 different small mines and looking for the right quality, and all the mines owners say, yeah, no problem, this is above 30%, I think this is 30% of manganese, so I'll send you a truck, no problem, don't worry, blah, blah, blah. And they all showed the perfect certificate of analysis with like the right amount of manganese in the minerals. Out of those 7 different mines, right, none of them, when they shipped one truck, had the right quality. They were all way below. So what do you want to do? When it's like this, it's very, very tough to have like any functioning society, because you cannot trust your peers, you cannot trust your citizens. It's a tough environment. So high trust society is a society with a high level of social cooperation, and low trust society is a society with a low level of social cooperation. All right? Does it make sense? So now let's review the bottom of the matrix. Is the culture more prone to long-term thinking or to short-term thinking? This concept of length of thinking is also quite easy to grasp. Short-term thinking society makes decisions based on immediate benefits or pressure, often prioritizing quick result or solution to current problems. Long-term thinking society, decisions are made with an eye toward future consequences and benefits, even if it means sacrificing immediate gains or enduring short-term difficulties. So here the question is, does the culture make a good case for the trade-off from short-term pain for long-term benefit? Or not. All right, so now that we understood the two concepts, let's jump on the matrix, and I will do that on the computer because it's just easier to explain. So let me give you some example of countries for you to understand how this matrix basically works. For instance, in high trust, long-term thinking countries, it will be like the Nordics countries, like Finland, and also like, north of Europe is quite usually long-term and high trust, like the Netherlands. Switzerland, obviously, I've already give you an example about that, and Japan. Japan is also some high trust country. In the low trust short-term countries, this is basically 80% of the countries in the world are in this in this case. Basically, countries like Cameroon, DRC, Philippines, and Brazil would also fit there. So it could be like small country, big countries, but still those countries, usually it's harder to live in those countries just because the social cohesion is not there and nobody like think about after tomorrow. So in low trust but long-term thinking countries, you have countries such as Russia and China. Usually those countries, they have like longer term horizon, but the level of social cohesion is not really there. In China, especially in big cities, it's not there. Maybe more in rural area would be the same for Russia, and actually for any other countries. Usually when you are from the countryside, you have a better social cohesion than if you are in big cities. And now the last square, high trust society, but short-term thinking. So here, honestly, I couldn't really think about a country, so I asked ChatGPT, and basically this is the country that they gave me. It's like Canada and Australia. And it's true that if you think about those countries, right now they are like committing seppuku. I don't know why, man. They are just destroying their countries. It's very, very weird to see it from outside, but it's still a high trust country. It's true that usually if you speak with a Canadian or Australian, they are maybe not the highest working people, but they are usually quite high trust. That's for sure. So obviously this cultural matrix is just like a way to conceptualize some ideas, and we can argue that China shouldn't be there but should be there, or that, I don't know, Brazil shouldn't be there but should be there. So we can argue as much as we want about which country should be where. This is not really the point. The point is, so now that you have this conceptual view, we can go to the next step. Now that you understand the matrix, let's speak about the last key to solving international business. So the last key is to find people that are outliers. An outliers is someone from a short-term culture, low trust culture, but he is personally a high trust person and long-term thinker. Those gems are extremely rare to find because it's incredibly difficult to go against his environment. Being trustworthy in an environment or nobody is extremely difficult. You need to be a special person to be able to pull it off. But it exists. I've met some. For instance, my business partner, Paul, is from a kind of low trust country, but is extremely loyal and trustworthy. It takes time to decipher if someone is an outlier. But there are some tells. For instance, if this person constantly meets deadlines, communicates openly about challenges, works toward building long-term relationship rather than a one-shot deal, you may have found an outlier. And if that is the case, you need to hold it as hard as you can. So remember the 3 keys, and then right after that, I'm going to give you a bonus if you are like a manager or an entrepreneur and you need to manage a team with very different cultures. People don't see the reality the same way. Do not believe what people say they are going to do. Find outliers. All right, so now I'm going to give you a little bonus if you are a manager and you have a team with very different culture. A friend of mine worked for a big Japanese company, and he's not from Japan. He does not live in Japan, but the culture is very Japanese there. And basically, if someone is 1 minute late, only 1 minute late, they need to send an apology email to all the team and say, oh, I'm sorry that I've been 1 minute late, blah, 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 blah. And basically, this is just to shame the guy that he's been late, so now he needs to be shamed, all right? And at first I was like, man, what is that, man? I mean, people are not kids. I mean, this is very weird, and so on. And the more I thought about this story, the more I thought, look, man, I think they are onto something. Because it's true that when you deal with people with very different cultures, some small things such as time are very different, the way they are seen from one culture to another. So you need to have a baseline of just behaviors in your company if you want it to work. And then the more I thought about that, and the more I thought like, look, the key here, if you want to build a company with very different cultures in it, the real key is like your company culture, your enterprise culture must be stronger than the culture of your employee. It doesn't mean that the culture need to fight, but it means that when your employee works for you, when he's at work, he needs to behave a certain way, and this way must be extremely clear and stronger than the way that he needs to behave with his family or with his friend. All right? So if you can impose that, I think you'll have a great functioning company, and honestly, all the employees will also like to work there better because everyone understands basically the rule. All right, so that's it for me today. I hope that you like this video. Please comment below if you agree with me, if you do not agree with me. I'm quite interested to know what you think about that. And yeah, man, see you next week. Ciao.